Hey everybody, this is Nurse Eunice and Sharetta.
Hi.
We are with Florida Training Academy and Caring Hands CPR Jacksonville. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing CPR survival and your success strategies, how to thrive, how to grow your business during economic downtime. And so, a little bit about myself. In addition to being a registered nurse and a business owner, I have had a CPR training business in the early 2000s. So, we already have experienced one recession, one economic decline, and survived. And of course, with all the challenges now. So, I want to bring some of that knowledge that I have and share it with you all because I know these can be uncertain times and I want your business to grow and to thrive. And then, Sharetta, would you please introduce yourself to the audience also?
Yes, I am Sharetta. And so basically, I have CPR and first aid training as well. I've been an instructor for a little over 15 years. I also have a daycare, also. So I have several things that I have going on. And I've been working for quite some time with Nurse Eunice with quite different things. So that's pretty much it about me.
Yes, yes. And so we do have some people in the chat who are commenting. So, hello, everybody. Hi, Veronica. We're going to get started now. All right, so let's talk about our disclaimer because even though I am a nurse, entrepreneur, CPR instructor, this particular video is not for one particular brand. In addition, even though I may be affiliated with multiple CPR brands as an instructor, there are no paid advertisements. So, although attendees may be affiliated with different CPR training brands, the strategies that we will be discussing are based on mine and Sharetta's business experience and observations. And so, when in doubt, I need you to always follow your certifying organization's policies. We're helping you grow your business, but those policies come from the organization itself. Understand the future of the CPR business and CPR instruction. I love this image because, of course, it's AI generated, but what you see here are people using their phones in order to, learn about anatomy. We already have RQI in some of our hospitals, and that is where those who need to renew their CPR certifications or earn their certifications, they're actually at a computerized station. There may be an assistant there, but that assistant isn't always, it's just different. It's not like when you go into a traditional class and you have an instructor there that's with you for 2 or so hours. For RQI, you do a lot of your modules online, and then you come in and do your hands-on skills. And so I need for you to understand the future of the CPR business because there is a rise in digital and blended learning modalities. And then home-based certifications are also becoming more popular. Because I teach for different brands of CPR companies, trying to get us both back on here. One of the companies actually lets us do remote classes. And so if you have any questions, you can always email us later. I'm sure Retta will put the chat in the our email address in the actual chat area. But depending on what brand that you're teaching with, you may be able to conduct remote classes. And so I do have a large corporation that we've partnered with. And so they send the mannequins out to their employees, their staff, and I literally come online and they all have their phones and we do their certifications in a matter of hours. So I want you to be thinking about ways that you can grow and advance your business so that you don't always have to be present. So utilize AI. And then CPR instructors, you got to pivot to stay relevant. And Sharetta, what do you have anything to add about the future of CPR instruction?
No, I don't.
All right, so you're so welcome, Chloe. All right, so an overview of the CPR brands. How do you know which brand is the best? It depends on your audience. And so the American Heart Association, or AHA, that's a widely recognized brand in healthcare. Meanwhile, Red Cross, consumer friendly, national reach, usually if it's a lifeguard or somebody who is going to be around water, they would take a Red Cross CPR, AED, and first aid class. And then ASHI is not as well known, but I love ASHI. So ASHI is American Safety and Health Institute, but their new name, which I can't get away from their old name, is Health and Safety Institute. They provide flexible instructor-led training also, and it doesn't matter the brand of CPR. It's all based off of international standards. And so the American Heart Association did not do research on its own, neither did the Red Cross, neither did ASHI. They all come together to do research worldwide. And then based off of that research, they develop their own individual curriculum. So the best program is the best that is affordable, that meets the needs of your customers, and that allows you to grow your business and nicely earn revenue. Because yes, we want to be teaching people to save lives, but because this is an expensive adventure, an expensive undertaking, we don't want you to not get a return on your income. So if you're putting all this money out, you're buying your equipment, you're buying all these packages, what are you doing to make sure that you are actually getting a return on your investment? And so find out which brand best aligns with you and your audience. And so Sharetta, do you teach with all three of these or just two?
I only teach with two. I teach with American Heart Association and ASHI as well.
Okay. And so I am likewise, and I don't teach with Red Cross, not because they're not a good brand. It's just that in order to post their courses, courses on their site, is $50 per post. And so some of the other brands will allow you to post for free. And that's really important because if I'm trying to, grow my business, I can't be paying as much in order to post classes. So this isn't bashing one brand or putting another brand over the other. But remember, as an instructor, if it's not making you dollars, it's not making financial sense. And so if you are a Red Cross instructor who hasn't crossed over, who hasn't incorporated a second brand or a third brand of CPR, definitely at the stay into the end, because we want to make sure that you have our information so that we can help you teach for multiple brands. What is one of the advantages of ASHI for you, Loretta? For you, Sharetta?
I would say the advantage of ASHI for me is being able to teach and not really having to follow a strict guidelines versus with American Heart Association, we have to instruct directly by the book, as opposed with ASHI, it's a little more lenient with their requirements and things like that for teaching the class. And that's one of the ones that in a sense you can do for as a virtual course versus a hands, in class course as well.
I totally agree. And so ASHI allows more autonomy. And so as far as a business owner, I make just as much revenue from teaching ASHI courses as I do teaching AHA. And so because I can teach large groups, it just makes it easier. If I'm going to the base and I have to, teach at a military installation, taking the DVD player, taking a USB, sometimes because of security concerns, cybersecurity, you can't connect to that company's Wi-Fi. Meanwhile, if it's AHA, I have to show a video. If I choose a different brand where the video is optional, sometimes that just works better. So that would be something that we hope that you remember, that you, keep into the forefront of your brand and your brain, as you're trying to grow your brand and your business. All right, so using AI in your CPR business, this is really important. And we'll check the chats in a few moments to see if you all have put any comments there that we need to address. But using AI in your CPR business, we use AI every day. I literally am using some form of AI, whether it's to generate our flyers, our slides, our emails. It's to the point now where if you email me, I more than likely did not read it. My assistant or I copied the email, took it to an AI like ChatGPT or Claude, had it respond because it understands our voice because we used it so much, and then it generates the email. So because we're getting 100 emails per day and we're still trying to, we're a small business. We are not a huge business. So we're trying to meet the needs of our customers while we're growing. And so we have to use AI in order to automate some of those processes. Another thing we do is we automate. We'll talk about the classroom management systems in a few moments, but all of our receipts are automatically sent out. If a student orders an ebook, that code is automatically sent. Reminders are sent. And then, future marketing. So we actually have marketing campaigns that's automatically embedded, every 90, 180, you're going to continually hear about us because we want to let you know that we're still in business, that we value you as a customer, and that we're always also asking for a referral. So remember, sometimes you don't have business because you're not asking for it. I have not utilized chatbots just yet, but I do have a phone call that is pending with our website developer, because I was watching someone's YouTube video, and there's literally an app that you can add to your website that lets viewers call into your website and leave voice chats. And so I am so excited to implement that, because then I can replay them on live whenever people are saying, hey, I passed my exam, etc. So think about chat bots. You would be able to, frequently ask questions. You can go ahead and feed that information into your chat bot. So when someone says, hey, how much is your BLS course? Or when's the next course? Your chat bot would be able to answer it for you. So you don't have to be everywhere at one time. And then content creation. And so, Sharetta, I keep calling you Loretta because, of course, we have a Loretta, we have a Sharetta, so I apologize. Sharetta, would you please discuss content creation?
So for me, I use AI just as much as well as Nurse Eunice does. I use it for everything. Just like she said, if there's someone sends the email, I use it and I'll respond to the email with it. Whenever I generate my posts to advertise my CPR, the daycare, anything that I advertise, I always put it in Chat GPT, whatever it is I'm looking to do. So it can just make it sound much better and a little more exciting than what I actually would type it up to say.
Yes. And then the professionalism. So, as sometimes as nurses and doctors, we can be a little straight to the point. And so someone was like, read this email for me. And I said, you will not send that email. You're going to send it over to Chat GPT. You're going to paste it. Let them know that you are frustrated, but you need to send that email off in a more professional tone, because you can keep it right or you can keep it working. So we want to keep everything working. And so think about that also. If you have something that really needs to be said, you never want to, for your business, speak from a place of emotion. And so with using AI, it kind of takes that emotion out, and you can always ask it to present a professional tone. If I'm doing a social media post, I ask for it to add emojis. And if you're not advertising to both ends of the age spectrum. So if you're not on TikTok and you're not on Facebook, you need to be considering that, because I like to say people my age, our customers are getting older. They're going to be retiring soon. Do I want my business to stop being in business because my customer base is retiring in 10 to 20 years? No. So what I'm doing now is I'm also doing a lot of advertisement on TikTok and whatever other platform that my young clients tell me I need to be on. It's kind of exhausting, but we're getting it done. Have you had more success with one platform or over another right now? Are you using multiple platforms?
I just been using it for, you mean for as the AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for that,
or just on social media, content creation.
I've been using it for everything, for Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anything I utilize for social media. I always use the AI for the content creation, and it also helped with generating some images. Sometimes you have to work with it a little more when you're trying to create different images. But outside of that, I feel that it's a perfect tool to help grow your business as well.
Perfect. All right, so let's talk about automating those administrative tasks. Look, we are good at teaching. You're a nurse, you're a firefighter, you just want to go out and teach, but you also have to take care of the business. There's a particular brand of CPR, one of the companies, they're doing a lot of audits. So if you're not taking care of the business behind your CPR business, you probably won't be in business for long. So some of the sources that we use in order to make sure that we stay in compliance, we use a classroom registration platform known as Enrollware. And I have been a user of Enrollware for almost, I want to say at least 8 years. So I was like, okay, way back then paying for Enrollware because I love its capabilities. Now, this is not a paid advertisement. I just want you to be looking at ways where not only can you keep your clients' information safe, it accepts payments for you. If you generate enough payments, it will even give you a loan based off of the revenue that you generate. It will send out automated emails. It sends out class reminders. The refund process is super easy as well. So a lot of instructors use Enrollware. It is not cheap. It's about $100 a month. And so if you don't have that much of a clientele yet, another site that I recommend for you is Acuity Scheduling, and or I think the other one's called Set More. On top of that, Square also has a scheduling function. If you use Square to send invoices, I've not used Square scheduling function, but try to figure out some way where, number one, you can collect data, you can collect payments so that you would be able to communicate and reach back out to your customers in the future. Sharetta, have you used any other registration platforms besides Enrollware?
So I use Setmore, as you mentioned. I use that for my CPR first aid trainings calendar. And so that helps with actually reaching out to the customer, reminding them of their class. It also sends them notification, letting them know a reminder, as well as they receive their receipts and everything like that. They can pay through Setmore. I use Square as well for my daycare. So that's one that I use for payment options. And then also you're able to schedule your invoices to send them out and things like that. So those are great things to use. I've heard some good things about others, but I haven't tried them myself. So I'll refrain from mentioning those names.
We use Setmore for our fingerprinting business, and so that's free. So I like
Yeah,
Setmore because of that.
I love it. So now with Setmore, I love it because it's free and you're able to do that, and you're able to, add your classes, your appointment times, and things like that. Only thing is now, in order to send like the reminders and stuff like that, there is a fee, which is usually, I think it's like $28 a month or something like that, to go a little more in depth. And then that way you can schedule classes out far in advance, and it sends the reminders and things. So that's where the fee is associated if you want to make it a little more automated. So
I love that. Yeah, thank you. I'll make sure I recommend that to some of our instructors who may be asking. For our client, I forgot what CRM stands for. Do your customer retention, customer something management? So there's all these different tools you can use to keep reaching out to people. But if you have the right class registration platform, you don't need a separate CRM, because Enrollware or Setmore, if you pay the $28 per month, it will send those email reminders out too. Something that I use is called Beacons. And so whenever you click on the link at the very end, it's going to take you to our freebies. And so I use Beacons for our freebies. So you'll be able to receive a business plan, you'll receive these slides, you'll receive different tips as to how you can grow your business. But in order for you to receive that information, I have to receive your email address. So I am capturing email addresses on multiple sites for, less than what MailChimp and some of these other companies would be charging. And so, I would recommend that you spend about $100 per month between AI and your classroom registration systems, etc., because that's just the cost of business. And if you are not doing that, Sharetta and we are. So of course, we're going to follow up with our customers because everything's automated. We're sending classroom reminders. We paid $100 more per month, but we have less of a workload. And so try to increase your revenue so that you can go ahead and automate and add AI into your business. I also have a virtual receptionist. Sharetta, how are you managing your phones?
So with my phones, I mainly answer the calls for the daycare because we have a landline, and I'm able to answer the calls and then return them that way. For as the CPR and first aid, I use a virtual assistant that answers the call, respond. If they send a text message, I have a way that it can automatically respond to their text message, just saying that, hey, we're teaching a class right now. If you're interested in enrolling, here's the link to go ahead and register for the class, because you want to get them on that first call. You don't want to miss it, because if not, they're going to go to the next person that's right up under your name, and that's who's going to get them.
That's right. That's right. So I've been utilizing text messages for 16 years.
Right.
It's like, hey, most people who call, they're calling from their cell phone. So even if I couldn't pick up the phone right then because I was working doing a 12-hour shift, I'd be like, hey, this is Eunice. Or, you called. Sorry, I missed your call. How can I help you? And
Right.
so if you, a lot of your companies that do virtual receptionist type services, they will give a free trial. And depending on how many phone calls you get, that free trial may last 3 days or it may last a week. But, at least, and something else I want to recommend is that you ask for pricing that is per call, not per minute, because you may have telemarketers, you may have students who are long winded. And so having you being billed per call just makes more financial sense. But that's something you can work up to. For now, like Sharetta said, make sure you're responding to those messages as soon as possible. Use a virtual AI system. I don't have a recommendation. Sharetta, do you have any recommendations?
I don't have a recommendation. I just use whoever is inexpensive. So that's basically what I go by. So I don't have one specifically to
Yeah.
refer.
And then as far as a virtual receptionist, right now I use Reception HQ, but I've used multiples. Yeah, over the years, I can't even think of some of the other ones. Usually if I leave, it's because of a billing issue where like one pulled double payments out like in the same 24-hour period. So instead of, and I was sending all my calls because I was really busy. So instead of being billed $800, I was billed $1,600. And so that is a lot within 24 hours. And so after that, I just got rid of that last company. But Reception HQ, I do recommend them for virtual receptionists. And I think some of their plans start off as low as $100 per month. Right. So Sharette, I'm going to minimize this. Let's see if there are any questions in the chat.
Okay, I've been keeping up with most of the questions in the chat, so
Okay. So we're
I've been
good.
with everyone, so we're good on that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you for joining today. I really appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me today.
So let me. All right, so classroom instructor management systems. Another benefit is your roster tracking. Remember that for the American Heart Association, you're supposed to keep your records for 3 years. And so what we require our instructors to do is after a course, they're going to scan their records. They're going to upload them into Enrollware. But you also have to keep your originals too. So, just don't depend on Enrollware because God forbid if it crashes or something and you're audited, you need to have those paper files. But
Yeah.
Enrollware is great for tracking, document retention. And then like we'll have students who are calling saying, hey, I misplaced my card. I can't find it. So being able to easily go back into a system and see what date a student took a course so that when I go into the ATLAS system or the ASHI system, ATLAS is for American Heart, I would be able to, pick that student's class date and then find their card and resend it to them. And of course, we talked about the class scheduling options. If you don't have an option where your student can easily just click a link and pay, if your student has to click more than 3 links to pay you, you need to simplify the process. It should be okay. Here's the link. Here's the information on that same
Right.
link. The next link is, choose your date, and then they can start entering their credit card information. And then marketing on a budget. Marketing is so important. Some of you all don't have the sale because you're not asking for it. And so I will usually reach back. Hello, this is Eunice with Florida Train Academy. I certainly enjoyed you in class. Here's a freebie. Here's our CPR and AED workbook. Here's a discount, a promo code that you can share with a friend. Please share our business and our services with others. Here's $5 off. So that's how I do our referrals, especially for our customers who come in-house. And then if it is a corporation or a company, I will give let's say, I won't say the company's name, but I'll make up a name. Eunice's Nursing Home. The promo code would be Eunice. And then for every employee they send to us, they get a group discounted rate of about $10. So that keeps them coming back because number one, they're getting quality service. But then number two, they understand that through our partnership, we're giving them discounts. And Sharetta, how do you handle your referrals?
So with my referrals, what I usually do is for as if it's someone that comes on a regular basis, or come every so often with doing their CPR, I'll give them a discount for $5 off. If I have someone that referred that individual to me, I'll try to do something to where I'm giving them a discount as well. Sometimes I'll send out gift cards and things like that. It all depends on what it is that's going on. I know with the daycare referrals, I send a gift card to the person that refers someone once they make their first payment. But in reference to CPR, it's usually I'll give like $5 off for someone if it's their first time taking a course with me, or sometime when they're renewing, I'll do that as well. And we also do different promos to where if it's Nurses Week, Teachers Week, and things like that, keep up with those different things so that way we can give out discounts for that also.
Love it. Love it. And so the Google My Business profile, a lot of people have underutilized that. I was speaking to someone who they don't have a CPR business. They have another business. They're like, hey, we don't have as many customers as we like. And they totally forgot. They don't have a website either. But this is a large business. And so, had her go to Google Business profile, and she finally claimed it and showed her how to do a post, etc. And so that was something that was done within an hour. And so if you all don't have a website, or you don't feel that your website is sufficient, Google tracks enough information. If you feed it, it will be there. You feed it with the photos, you feed it with your services, your classes. I usually post our classes as events on different social media platforms.
Yes.
And so you have to start putting this information in. I know it seems like a lot of work, but if you stay for a couple of more slides, I'm going to show you how to get some assistance to help make that process easier on you. And then don't forget about your reels. Look, social media, you can be posting for free. You do not have to pay $800. I have a friend who spent thousands of dollars on a marketing or with a marketing agency. And then when she got through and there was no result, she said, girl, I could have just hung with you and bought lunch and got more than I did, than paying this marketing agency all of this money. And so you don't have to spend a lot of money to start, but you do have to be social on social media. And I think Sharetta and I, we have. Sharetta's go take her trips, y'all. That's number one. But I think Sharetta and I have really cornered how to be social on social media without telling too much of our business while always being on social media. Because I'm going to post about 3 times a day. You go hear about Florida Training Academy. And what's interesting is for the last 16 years, I've posted every day. So if you say you don't have any business, how often are you posting and where are you posting? So Sharetta, what do you like? How do you create your postings calendar or your schedule, and any pointers? Can you give any pointers to the viewers?
So basically with my schedule, I usually go in and I schedule my stuff out. You can schedule your stuff out for 30 days. So it's no excuse that you cannot post on social media. You have AI as a tool to actually help you write different posts. If you don't even know how to write the post or advertise, you have all those different tools that you can use to help you with that. And it's even to the point you can schedule your reels. You can schedule your stories. You can schedule everything to make life so much easier for you. You can make everything automated. So like Nurse Eunice said, is if you got to post, because it's like, how can you say I have a business and I don't post? We don't know anything about your business. If you go to my social media page, you're going to see every business that I run basically on my social media page. That's one of my profile pictures, and it shows you everything. So if you need to know anything in reference to what I do, it's on the page. So you have to be able to, let people know that, hey, I'm here. We're doing this, we're doing that, and make sure that you're posting those things on a regular basis. And even when I go on trips, I post. If I'm not able to post, it's scheduled to post because I may not have time to. So you just got to try to live your life to where everything is automated. I had a friend of mine, she always called me tap, tap, tap. And the reason she calls me that is because I'd be like, hold on, let me check my calendar. Let me add it to my calendar, because that's how I live my life. And if you're not able, that means that you have to be able to have that free time. So that's why you want to make sure you have things automated.
Yes, and so I took a trip a few weeks ago, Mother's Day trip, and so I was writing an ebook while they were partying and doing boots on the ground. I had my computer right there, and like, where the fans at? I see y'all, and I'm tap tap tapping. I am creating my
Exactly.
ebook, and so
Right.
you can still participate in family activities, but the difference is being a business owner. If I don't do this, my business does not reach clients. I don't make any money. And so if I don't make money, I can't feed my child. So I do when I'm on vacation, unfortunately, just because it's the nature of business, I may have to be on a computer for about 2 hours, but I'm willing to sacrifice and do that because I know if I reach one person who registers for one class, that can be a couple of $100 depending on what class they registered. So if you don't have the business, sometimes it's because you're not making the sacrifices. And we hope to encourage you because you are the cause of you
Right.
being successful, but you're also the cause of you being unsuccessful. So let's make some positive changes in 2025. All right.
Yeah.
So look, Sharetta and I, we go upsell. We go sell some stuff. So so if you're
Yeah.
not upselling, if you're not, hey, come for our CPR class, well, are you interested in this? Are you interested in that? Here's an item, that will help you. Are you also selling the ebooks or excuse me, for different brands of CPR, the book is separate. And so you can make a small, a very nominal additional, like an upcharge for selling those books. So think about other things that you can sell that will be complementing to your CPR business. For example, AEDs, first aid kits. Just think about that because you want to be able to reach back out to your customer with something additional. And especially if you're doing business to business sales, which is really good. That's when you get your corporations and your groups. When you're in that business, you need to be looking around. Let me see your AED. Let me see your first aid equipment, not to sell, but to let them know if anything is deficient. Because if I'm in your business teaching your class, I feel like I'm responsible for you and your employees. And I want to open up that kit and I want to say, hey, this one's missing this. I will send you a link as to, a new kit and, you can look at it or you can just buy the missing item. And so Sharetta, any input for your selling equipment and or add-ons?
So yes, I totally agree with you. So with me, with sometimes during classes, like I would advertise, I'll always pull out a pocket mask or something like that. And a lot of people, oh, where did you get it? I was like, oh, we have them for sale here if you like to purchase one. So that's another thing. People want to have their own personal pocket mask. I also we give away the keychain, but at the same time, you want an actual pocket mask that you can utilize more than once. With that, so that's one of the things we do. And then even teaching corporate classes, like you mentioned, what I would do is I go in and I'll ask them about their AED, and then I'll kind of go over how to use their actual AED with them as well. And then sometimes I'll offer that service as an add-on, training them on their own AED, so that way everyone there knows how to use the AED. So those are some different ways and different things. And another thing that I do is I will offer a free CPR course to new moms, and I'll go over just the choking and then the infant piece. But of course, at some point, they're going to want to come back to learn the rest of the CPR. So that's another add on at that point. So now they're paying for a full class versus just learning about the infant portion.
That is so right. And recently, let me make it a little bit smaller. Those community classes, outreach, it is so important. So when I'm going out and I'm teaching the community, I am not trying to sell anything. I am doing the mission, God's mission. I'm teaching you how to save a life. You can learn dances, you can learn CPR, but it never fails when I'm out there teaching CPR in the community. Somebody else from the community who has funding usually will see me and then recommend my services to a customer who needs to pay for my services. And so at the very end, I'm just going to tell you now, there's a slide that says the person who gives the most value for free is the one who wins. And so if your business isn't growing, when was the last time you went out and you did community CPR? So it's not hard. It's free, takes an hour. You don't have to take out your fancy equipment, get the cheapest equipment, go outside, go to a community center and teach CPR, go to your religious organizations, go to
Yes.
daycare centers. So let me tell you about this. I love this. So the Homeschool Association, I made a program. child and babysitting. I didn't use anyone's brand. I'm a nurse. I created my own brand. And so they usually send dozens of students twice per year to come here, have these mannequins. They're learning CPR, first aid, how to change diapers, etc. So when we talk about upselling, what additional courses based off of your expertise can you create, can you teach that's going to generate interest and also reach the younger audience? Because now we have 13-year-olds who know about nurse units and our CPR classes. So what are you doing to reach that untapped market?
All right. So I know for me with that, with me having a daycare as well, I also advertise to the team, but I advertise to them the ASHI babysitting course. But at the same
Yes.
time, even offering them the ASHI babysitting course, I also will give them opportunity to mentor if that's something that they want to do for as childcare as they get older and things like that. Because it's like, hey, I have a daycare. If you want to come and volunteer sometime, you know, you can come and volunteer. I can teach you the ropes. So now they're learning the business aspect of it. So it's like, depending on what you're doing, it's multiple ways you can add someone in order for you to be able to help them succeed as well as you're helping yourself succeed.
Love it. Love it. All right. So let's go to our next slide. We kind of covered this already, the corporate partnerships, but you need to be out there. So just not business to consumer, business to individual. You need to be doing business to business. And whenever people contact me for our business strategy sessions and they're like, hey, I'm ready to advertise to businesses, I do a thorough session. I'm looking at your website. I'm calling your phone number. You don't even have a voicemail. So how is this corporation going to contact you and feel safe enough? Or you have like one of those Google numbers that says you've reached a Google number. Absolutely not. And so then one of the next questions I ask is, how many mannequins do you have? And so, and you're like, oh, I have 2 adults and 2 infants. And so I'm like, well, how are you going to teach a corporate class? Do you have enough people to assist you? And so we want you to grow, but we want you to grow responsibly so that you're not making mistakes. Because if you show up to a corporation ill prepared, they're going to not utilize your services again. And so as far as the small business focus, you can provide training to small businesses also, like Sharetta just said. So Sharetta is awesome because, you know, she has a daycare center on top of having the CPR training company. So she's already in there with the workers from DCF, the child care providers. And so that is a market for her automatically where she can go back and train them. And then don't forget to offer those package deals. So if you can give a discount or if you can go morning, evening, and like midnight, I've done that before for the postal service. You can also be able to expand your business through partnerships. Anything you want to add there, Sharetta?
No, I thought about that time when you said about the morning, noon, and evening. Remember when we taught at JTA, we was there
Yep.
like 6 in the morning, then we went in the afternoon, then we went late at night. So it's like at this point, is you have to do whatever it takes to help grow your business. If that means that I need to take the day off from this business to do this, you think I'm not going to take the day off from that business to handle this? Yes, I am. Because I have someone else in place that's able to handle that.
And we're going to get to that next on one of the future slides. Is I know this is your baby, but even with your baby, you got to let somebody else in. You got to trust somebody. So group training and hybrid models. I love this photo because I was tasked with training hundreds. It was a lot of people. I want to say it was 100, not hundreds. But we had, you know, in my mind, as soon as you tell me how many clients, I am setting up stations. I'm like, okay, I need 2 instructors at that station, 2 instructors at that station, how much equipment, how many pocket masks, how many facial shields. And so it's like my brain just starts just going into overload and overdrive. But I can't do this if I don't have collaboration and partnerships. And so you have to have, even though we can have the same type of business, everybody is not your competitor. And so it's going to be hard for you to grow your business if you don't have enough equipment, number one, or if you don't partner with another person who has equipment and who has staff. And so you can't do a community event, you know, of scale with just 1 mannequin. So at the very bottom down there, it says scale up, expand beyond individual classes. So right now, if a corporation called me and said, you know, can you teach on this day? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm booked. I'm never going to tell the corporation no. I'm going to say, let me take down your dates that you're requesting and the times. And then let me just check my calendar to see if I can, change some things around. And I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call Sharetta. I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call Erica. I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call Paul. We're going to get that class done and we're going to service our customers. So
yeah. Like that time when we taught at the school, I don't know how many instructors we had. It was, I don't even know how many students it was, but like you said, it was people at each table, instructors at each table. People did like a whole roundabout to complete the course. So it's just a matter of putting your brain together with someone else and getting it done. Partner with different people because you cannot run business alone. And that's something I had to learn a long time ago. You cannot run your business by yourself. And like Nurse Eunice said earlier, you got to trust somebody.
Yep. So I have a sign. It's kind of hidden. So as a customer, you won't be able to see it, but it's near my printer and it says, "You are not an island unto yourself and neither is your business." And so you have to have community. You got to have partners. All right. So our next slide, and Sharetta, how's the chat going?
The chat's going good. I'm up to date with all questions.
I love you. Thank you so much for helping. So branding your CPR business, you all. So visual identity. Our colors are blue, white, and yellow. We kind of keep it consistent. Every now and then for a color pop, my ads may have a different color, but my logo has been consistent now for over a decade. Social proof on our Google profile. Oh my God. LinkedIn gives you like a rating. Facebook gives you reviews, allows your customers to leave reviews. Indeed allows reviews. So social proofing, it's creepy. It's like, oh my God, when did they start leaving reviews on Indeed? But whenever people add their certifications, they get to add where they received that certification and they get to review it. And so you having those, 4+ star real testimonies. Now, if all your testimonials came on one day, we know you paid for those. But you want to be asking for reviews because that's going to actually social proof. It's going to prove that you're a viable business. And our customers, when I usually ask everybody, how did you hear about us? Why did you choose us? And they're going to say, because I looked at your social media, I read your reviews, and everyone says that you have a great business. And then your digital presence, you have to be online. Anything you want to add there, Sharetta?
Yeah, so I'll say that too. So I really didn't even know that that on LinkedIn they had where you can leave reviews. And then I was like, oh my God, like everything you can leave a review on. But I have this one thing I tell, like I always ask, people like Nurse Eunice said, how did you find us and things like that? Because I want to know. So that way I can know which channels are working for me for its advertising, so that way sometimes you can cut costs. If something isn't working over here, well, let's put more money into this area. So that way we can boost that up because we notice that's where most of our clientele is coming from. But I have this little thing I say in my classes. I ask everyone to leave us a 5-star Google rating, when they take our class. And I tell them, I said, well, if you're not going to, leave a 5-star rating, don't tell Google, tell me so I can fix it, right? So that way I don't have any bad reviews because it could be something so simple that you can fix versus letting someone allowing them to write you a negative review by telling them to leave a review,
Yes. And I think one time, because whoever works, and we'll talk about the employees and the retention in a few moments, but who's ever working in our office, I always tell them, you don't work for me, you work with me. We are a team. So I will literally, I don't care what you got going on, as long as you are not stealing my customers, I need you to run your business while you're here helping me with my business. And it was this one time, it was a customer, there was some mishap, and Sharetta's like, well, how are you going to make this right? You're going to give her a discount? Absolutely. We acknowledge, we give discounts, we give refunds.
Right.
And we do so quickly. We do whatever is needed so that the customer feels heard and validated. And so you need to be looking at your own. That should be a homework assignment for you. I need you to research your business online. And if you don't have any reviews, you need to get some reviews. If your reviews are negative, you need to be responding, apologizing, and then getting more positive reviews to offset that negative review. All right, so let's talk about expanding your offerings. So we already talked about babysitting safety. We are a Narcan provider here. So Sharetta, if you need some Narcan to give away, as long as we can track it, I can definitely give you some Narcan. I think I have 2 boxes.
Okay.
Pet CPR classes. I just gave my pet CPR mannequin away because I am so busy with our IV therapy and our nurse level classes until I had an instructor. She's awesome. She's a nurse also, and she's like into wilderness and she loves animals. Who better to invest in than a nurse who's already invested in me? So now she has a large corporate class next week with 25 people, pet CPR. So think about ways that you can expand your offerings. And then don't forget that we also offer CPR classes. Diversifying your services not only attracts a broader client base, but also position your business as a comprehensive safety resource in the community. Staying current with industry trends ensures ongoing relevance and growth. All right, so managing inventory smartly. We know the tariffs are coming, so you need facial shields.
Right.
Now, man, coming, they're already here. You need gloves, you need wipes. It's like you're not waiting until the very end to get this stuff. Like as soon as I heard, it's kind of like for me, it was like preparing for, the pandemic all over again. Because
Exactly.
I remember when everything was in short supply. So I've already gotten our bulk supplies. And so Amazon has commercial supplies, toilet paper, wipes, cups, where you can get everything in boxes and in bulk. But you need to manage your inventory smartly. And that includes your certification cards, because sometimes it takes a few days to get those cards to us. And so you want to make sure you have cards in inventory so that whenever you teach a class, your students are getting certified, within 24 hours, because those students, they need their certifications quickly. That's been the norm. And you want to help make sure that you maintain that standard. And then social media. So you've never posted a video before. You're going to go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm a CPR instructor. I'm a BLS instructor. Give me an idea for a behind the scenes video that's less than 45 seconds. Because if you've never done it before, you're not going to be talking, or the opposite, you're going to talk too long and you're going to lose your audience. Talk about success stories. So there's always these nurses, these doctors who are doing talking head images in front of an article. You can literally do that with a success story about somebody who performed CPR and the victim survived. And so that would be something that you can do. And that would help market your business because you're telling a story, but in your description, there should always be a call to action. The call to action could be as simply as go to Caring Hands Jacks. What's your website, Sharetta?
Caring Hands CPR Jacks.
CaringHandsCPRJacks.com to receive your free CPR and AED ebook. Or for me professionally, I have a video on YouTube, a CPR and AED video that has over 600,000 views. And so I would say, hey, if you want to learn hands-only CPR or CPR for adults, children, and infants in less than 20 minutes, go to, youtube.com/Florida training in order to see this video. So you always, when you're presenting this free information, you want to have a call to action. So that way the relationship is reciprocal. And then live demos. Look, if I can get 600,000 people to watch me do CPR, and I even have a FIG uniform on. I had a Walmart special on. What can you do?
Right.
So do those live demos. It's about teaching. It's about showing up. And if somebody would have told me that a middle-aged African-American woman who is a little bit on the plus size would be able to be an influencer, a content creator, I would have like, no, that's not me. I want to stay behind the scenes. But what made me come from behind the scenes was that some evil person did a copyright claim on all of my videos, including the ones that didn't show my face. So they literally went through all of my videos and said that they were their videos. And so to make sure it never happens again, I have to show up. So God works in mysterious ways. And what that person did for evil, God turned around and made it for good. Because once I started showing my face, people resonated with it and my channel viewership increased. So don't be afraid to be authentic, to show up, to mispronounce words on camera. It's not about being perfect. It's about just showing up and showing up consistently. So
Right.
what was your last video about, Sharetta?
What was my last video? Was about me finishing this deck on YouTube. But I know for the month of May, I did do water safety tips because May is National Water Safety Month. So on Tuesdays, I've been doing the Tip Tuesday, and it talks about water safety. So that was my last more professional video. But on my DIY stuff, it was completing my deck.
Yeah, and so I've been batch shooting videos. So I come in here now because now I have more help. I have a team. They're answering phones. They're doing emails. They're using social media. They're using AI. And so I come in here and like 4 hours a day, I am shooting videos back to back to back. And so that has helped me a lot. So if you put on makeup and you have on your uniform or your logo shirt that you can get from, I think it's Queensboro, your polo shirt. Yep. So that's really inexpensive. That way there's branding. You're actually letting people know that, hey, this is Florida Training Academy. All right. So anyway, you're going to shoot your video, shoot multiple videos in one day, even if you don't edit the video. So what I literally do is I've shot all this content. I've recorded it, and now every day I use a software called CapCut or either Canva, and I go back and I edit that content. So at least one video comes out per day. And if I, don't have a video comes out every day, I give myself grace. I am human, but I've also taught my 12-year-old son, and I've taught everybody who works in the office how to use that same technology, which is really inexpensive to edit videos. So if you have a kid, I don't care if the kid is 11, they should be helping you grow your CPR business. They can still create posts too, and they can also help with the editing software. And let's see what our next slide is. All right, so let's collaborate with others. You see Sharetta and I. We now rent our classroom space out. We've had multiple requests for years of people who are like, hey, I need to shoot a video in a hospital scenario. Can we rent your equipment out, or can we rent your space out? And I'm like, what are you doing? I want to make sure that it's not anything that's going to, bite me in the butt. But yes, that's another stream of income, actually renting out your space. And so we're renting out our classroom, renting out our clinical rooms, because there's other instructors who don't have the equipment, who may not have the actual space, but they want to get started. So that's a way to help them while also helping us. Refer out to overflow clients. So like I said, if I can't teach a course, I'm going to let Sharetta or another instructor know, and then we do a profit share. If I wasn't there, I don't get 100%, but because I am the causing factor, I'm the one who was able to give Sharetta that business, maybe we do a 75-25% split. But either way, a penny over zero is increase. So I'm not going to have my team miss out on money because I can't do something. I'm going to refer it out. And then we just talked about sharing equipment. So Sharetta, I know you do a lot in your office.
Yes, I do. So I rent out my office space. I have people have had baby showers. People have had all types of party there. Sometimes when business get a little slow and things like that, I'll host like a sip and paint at my office. Just doing anything because I have the space, utilize the space to generate extra income. So
that's right. That's right. Look at us being flexible and being able to pivot.
Right.
All right. Because having an office with no clients not generating any money, that does not make financial sense.
Right. And in the way that these days are in the economy now, it's best to be able to move around and shift some things around if you have to, because you never know.
And then being mobile. My goal within the next 5 years is to teach 75% of my classes online, because I have to be here a whole bunch. Some classes have to be hands-on, but for the other classes, we have a global audience. We have a borderless classroom. So me being in this office all the time, when I know there are people, we have a lot of customers from Ohio, in New York, I need to be able to travel around to service these other customers, and not just for CPR. We're talking about instructor level classes, business development. And so you have to start rethinking. And if your thought process right now is, okay, I'm going to grow this one brick and mortar business, you're going to be missing business, because sometimes you got to go to where the money is. Money is not always going to come to you.
Yeah,
Right.
and
So
I agree with you. And even when you're talking about now, we're about to talk about employee retention. Being able to grow your business, that means that you have to have employees. You have to have someone that's there to assist you. Like we said before, you can't do it by yourself. You have to have that help, especially depending on what vision you have for your business or your organization. And if you want to see it go further than what it is, you have to have other people that assist you. And that means employees or whomever else that you may have assist with growing your business.
that's right. Teamwork makes the dream work. So,
That's it.
as far as far as employee retention, you all, whoever works with me at Florida Training Academy, and we have hundreds of affiliate instructors. I let them know I'm not trying to compete against you. We work together. So if I need something like today, I'm like, hey, Sharetta, I really need a moderator. Can you jump on? The answer was yes. And so, likewise, if she needs something, I'm there to assist her too. But as far as our employees, we only hire part-time employees or independent contractors because we're a small business. We don't have enough income to have multiple full-time employees on staff besides myself. Excuse me. So how do I keep part-time workers? Number one, they're happy. We make their life easy. You come in, you have a passion to teach. We want to make life easy for you. You come in, the classroom's already set up. Your roster's already printed. You just need to do what you're good at. Come in and teach your class, get your paycheck each week, and come back and do that again. Let's keep that process going. But one of our secrets is that we also utilize interns. So we have multiple partnerships with different entities within our city, one of which being like the mayor's Youth at Work program, Eckerd Connect. It's workforce development organizations where the youth and the young adults, they have to be trained. And so why not be trained here? And so we're teaching them social media. They also do a lot of our presentations as far as behind the scenes work to make the administrative part of our social media business a little bit easier. So just think of ways where you can get interns. As Sharetta just said, sometimes the young moms, when they're in, she's like, hey, are you interested in a career in childcare? And if they say yes, she lets them shadow, she lets them assist. So think of a way to get young people into your office and let them be young. I can tell what they're good at. They're not good at communication. We work with them to try to get them to communicate the answer to the phones. But if that young person can never answer a phone, but if she can create those social media posts, shoot a video, edit a video, that's what she's good at. We allow her, we don't really point out a lot of their inabilities. We focus on what they are good at. And of course, we're always like, hey, whenever you're ready to practice talking on the phone, we're here for you. But, that's usually not the younger audiences or the younger person's strong point. How do you utilize, have you had any interns yet, Sharetta?
No, I haven't had any interns. Like I said, all I've been doing is if I have young adults that want to, for his babysitting or things like that and childcare, I'll work with them in that industry, and then I'll have them kind of volunteer, not necessarily an intern per se.
Okay. All right. And so you all, whoever provides the most value for free wins. And so Sharetta and I have spent almost an hour here. I said 30 minutes, Sharetta. I owe you lunch, girl. It was long winded.
Look, it's all good. You'll pay me back in some other way. So it's okay.
So yes, you got to get out there. You got to be providing some free information, because once they know you, they love you, they trust you, the algorithm is also going to know, love, and trust you. So offering free valuable content such as tips, tutorials, safety advice builds trust and positions you as an industry leader, attracting more clients who appreciate your expertise. So consistent engagement through free resources encourages loyalty and increases the likelihood of paid services. Exactly what me and Sharetta just said. And then something that you all don't like to do is you don't like to ask for help. There was this one nurse who had been in business for a year, and she only had one customer. And I was like, well, when did you hear about me? She said a year ago. And she finally decided to reach out to me, and she refused to post on social media. So I can't help everybody, but you need to seek mentorship. You need guidance. So Sharetta and I, we both have our own businesses, but we also do consultation. And so our job is to help you turn those scrubs into a business. Like, I don't care what business it is. I've been in business long enough to where I can help you succeed. So don't do it alone. Learn entrepreneur models like what we're talking about here. You can book a one-on-one strategy session. Our website is fltraining.com. Sharetta's going to put her website in the chat. Sharetta, what's your website?
My website is CaringHandCPRJax.com.
Yeah, and so don't do it alone. If you want to use your phone, because I know, so let's talk about that. Last thing I'm gonna talk about is Google's the #1 search engine. YouTube videos, #2. Our YouTube videos index. So if you type in like CPR practice test, my videos are going to index. You're going to see me. And so right now, some of you all are watching me on TV. So I need you to pick up your phone, open up your phone, your camera app, and I need you to scan that QR code so that you can download the information you need. It's going to be a business plan for CPR instructors. It's going to, of course, be these slides. You're also going to receive some other valuable information so that we can help you grow your business. And again, that's for free. So we want to thank you all so much for joining today. And we want you to win all 2025s. We know that having a business can be hard, but it's not hard if you collaborate, if you ask questions, and if you seek a mentor. So that is all the advice that I have for you. Sharetta, any final words?
I'll say whatever it is that you're working and striving towards, just stay consistent in it and don't give up, because you've done the hard part already. You already started the business. Just continue on with it and keep moving.
Just keep moving. All right, everybody. We appreciate you. Keep moving, keep winning all 2025. We love you, and we'll see you in the next video. Sharetta, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.